What's up, y'all? Thanks for coming back here to listen to me read the Kim's Lost Works book for you all. I want to go ahead and get started. Let's continue with chapters 6 through 10. Let's go after the intro.
Shorty press, shorty fine, yeah, face card valid, she gon' slay it every time. Independent, on the grind, yeah, all about the money, so she never got time. Shorty press,
Chapter 6, Pac. Biggie took over East Coast hip-hop, and Sean was the brilliant mind that orchestrated it. He hired people to teach Chris how to flow and write his lyrics. He hired the best producers to do the beats, although he took credit for them. And the music was unstoppable. At this point, Sean was sleeping with all of the power players, and everyone that wanted to do music wanted to be a bad boy. Sean wheeled and dealed in a way that would have been unthinkable to many. He slept with the guys that really controlled the music to stay on top. A lot of the names average people have never heard of. These are guys that make decisions on who is winning and who is not. He hosted parties that were just a fancy name for orgies, and everyone wanted in. When I met Tupac, Sean and I had an open relationship, and yes, I slept with Pac. Shit, he was sexy. Sean didn't mind. Well, not until he tried to get Pac to join both of us. Pac was not good with that. This is where the relationship between them became strained. Tupac wasn't going to accept Sean's advances. Pac wasn't gay, and he was pissed about the advances. We were all in Sean's house. I was drinking, they were smoking, and everyone was just relaxing. Sean came in on what I am sure he would call a smooth approach. My baby is bad, isn't she? Pac threw me a sly smile. Hell yeah, I felt myself blush. Sean was now in full swing. You think you hit it better than me? I couldn't believe he disrespected me that way. I was not playing with my response. Sean, what the fuck? Pac came to my defense. Damn, bro, you ain't got to do the sister that way. Tupac appeared upset behind Sean's words, but Sean went in for the kill regardless. I think my dick's bigger than yours. I bet I can make her come faster than you. What's up? Pac was appalled. What the fuck are you talking about, nigga? I ain't trying to run no fucking train. Sean continued. What you scared of? Let's see who fucks better. Let her be the judge. Yes, at this point we had been inviting others into our bed for a while, but I am not used to and will not stand for disrespect. I wasn't the only one upset. Pac shouted, Nigga, you talking about pulling your fucking dick out? Sean was undaunted. What you scared of? Tupac simply left. Things were contentious since then. The two could not be in the same room. Pac avoided me as much as he did Sean. When they did bump into each other, the tension was palpable. It felt like blows could have been thrown at any moment. Months passed with only the tension between them. It was uncomfortable, but nothing life or death. Then one day we were at the studio. It happened. I walked into Sean's office and he was having the conversation. Sean sat across from Jimmy Henchman. Pac, don't let that fucking studio alive. I don't think I was supposed to hear it. I continued as if I didn't. Hey Sean, good morning Jimmy. They didn't seem to think I heard anything. I'm ordering breakfast. Smiling, Sean replied first. Let me get eggs, sunny side up, with grits and an orange juice. I can see he was hungover. Good. I don't want him knowing I know anything. If he just put a hit on Pac, knowing something could be dangerous. Jimmy, apparently not hungry, said, Nothing for me. As he stood to exit the room, he said to Sean, Let's make that happen. Then nodded to me and said, Kim, always a pleasure. With a wink to me and a nod to Sean, he turned and walked out. Jimmy was a part of our intimate circle. I went on as if nothing was happening. I'll make the call now. I smiled as I left, hoping I wasn't white as a sheet. I wasn't in the studio the night Pac survived being shot. Thank God. From what I understand, Sean and Chris saw Pac at the studio after he'd been shot and did nothing. The way God works, after being shot, Pac made it to the elevator and tried to escape, but it stopped at the floor Sean and Chris were on. When the doors opened, they saw him lying on the elevator floor, riddled with bullets. The fact that they didn't call an ambulance, although they saw Pac lying there swimming in a pool of his own blood, would be all the evidence Pac ever needed. He of course assumed they placed the hit, and Tupac is a soldier. This is not something that would be unanswered. Tupac didn't do well. He lost a testicle, but he survived. It was orchestrated, and Sean Puffy Combs was the orchestrator. Chapter 7. Threats. At this point, I knew I had to get away from him, but I was scared. Is he going to take my life if I try to escape? One February evening, I thought I found my opportunity at dinner after an event. We were at a ritzy restaurant in a private booth. It was an exclusive setup. We were alone, but we were in public. Perfect. Sean was on the phone talking to an unknown listener as he sat down. His words on that call will be etched into my mind forever. We're going to release Who Shot You now. He waited for a response, then went on to say, of course they're going to think B.I.G. was talking about Pac. That's the whole fucking point. Nobody would give a fuck about a diss track against LL fucking Cool J. Do you know how much money we'll make with this kind of rap beef? Niggas battling after someone really got shot? This may not be the best time for the conversation Sean was finishing up. We drop that shit tomorrow. He listened into the phone, then responded. There's gonna be blood in the street. Niggas missed. Pac's alive. Let's capitalize on that shit. When he responds, it's just gonna mean more money. He turned and looked at me, spoke back into the phone. I'll call you back. Then hung up and spoke to me. What's wrong? I tried my best to give a fake smile at what I'd heard. After all, me and Pac were intimate. I responded, nothing. Sean wasn't fooled. Are you sure? His demeanor was threatening, but I responded as cool as I could muster to this intimidating stare. Yeah, of course. He took my hand, saying, that's wonderful. He began to squeeze my hand until it hurt as he continued. Because seeing you walk in the office while I was talking about killing that motherfucker and you not saying shit to me had me just a little concerned. His grip was starting to hurt badly. You're hurting me. As he continued, he squeezed tighter. You're pretending you didn't hear anything was a sign of your loyalty to me, not something I should be concerned with, right? I had no choice but to give him the answer he wanted. I knew I was trapped when I responded. Of course, I'm loyal to you. He let me go as he responded. Good. And remember, I'm the big dick. I snatched my hand back in pain. He smiled and said, let's start off with a good wine. He snapped his fingers and his favorite wine was poured for him. They knew what Sean wanted, and what he wanted, he got. I'm trapped. Now isn't the time for me to launch my escape plan. I have to be strategic. It's going to be hard to leave glamour, the glitz, and the lifestyle. I mean, this man just snapped his fingers in one of the most exclusive restaurants in New York City, and they poured his drink of choice. The bottle of wine is $800, and this is 1994. The list to get in this place is 6 months long, and if you're somebody. Mayor Giuliani has a table here tonight also. If I got up and walked out, I would be safe. But what about tomorrow? I had to think. He sipped his wine and smiled. You're not drinking? He pointed at my glass, and of course, a waiter filled it. They knew what I liked as well. Sean has a bad temper. He yells sometimes, and okay, he's roughed me up once or twice, but he never punched me. He never bruised me, and he never hit Quincy. I would have not stood for that. He never laid a hand on my son. At that time, I never thought of him touching Quincy in any way. Then the significance of what he said hit me. Is he mad at Tupac over me? I'm the big dick. Oh my God. The last time he put his hands on me, it was because I enjoyed Jamie Foxx too much. Shit, he even enjoyed Jamie too. He gets so insanely jealous. It's not fair. He wants to bring other men into the bedroom, but gets jealous when he does. Damn, you're quiet tonight, he said, snapping me back into the present. I asked the question that was burning in my mind since I walked into that office. What does Chris think of this? He looked at me coolly and said, his fat ass better just keep doing music. A third guest was escorted over by security. Sean motioned for him to sit. A waiter walked over to Sean Carter and asked, would you like something? Carter responded, no thank you, then said, hello to me, with a smile. Smiling, I replied, hey Carter, and took a sip of my drink. Then the Seans may share a bed together from time to time, but thankfully I was never asked to join. Carter went on to speak to Sean. I thought we were meeting in private. Sean replied with a nonchalant shrug. I had to discuss something with her. It's fine, go ahead. He wielded this kind of power. Carter shifted uncomfortably in his chair before continuing. It's true. Chris and Pac were about to start their own label. Sean slammed his fist against the table, shouting, doesn't anyone have any fucking loyalty? Carter, well, that's not happening now, right? Sean peered at Carter with distrust. Why the fuck are you so eager to share this with me? Chris is your man. Fuck, he brought you on, and you're stabbing him in the back? Carter responded with indignity. First, I'm tired of being that nigga's son. I need to come out from under his damn shadow. Sean smiled slightly. Okay, I respect that. Carter kept going. On top of that, this nigga is making that move, and it should have been with me. Sean looked at Carter blankly. Pop put Chris on. You know this. What's this really all about, Carter? Don't fucking try to play me. The Jay-Z of today wasn't born yet. This young Sean Carter was in over his head. Cornered, he had to spill it out. I want his spot. Ambition. Now this man I can work with. Sean made a grandiose gesture towards Carter. Waiter, get this motherfucker whatever he wants. Carter smiled. Thank you, Sean responded. Honestly and ambition. We're gonna make a lot of bread together. Carter ordered a drink as he stated again. Guess he won't be leaving with that nigga to do their own label now. Sean responded with his normal air of arrogance. Why don't you let me worry about that? I took this as my cue to escape. I told Sean, I'm going to go ahead and get back to Quincy. Sean was wrapped up in his conversation with Carter and barely noticed as he excused me. Have the limo drop you off. We didn't eat. He didn't care. I smiled and kissed him on the cheek and left. Chapter 8. Kadada. Actress, model, and fashion designer Kadada Jones was Tupac Shakur's fiancée and is the daughter of record producer Quincy Jones and actress Peggy Lipton. Being around other celebrities was just a part of life. Meeting Kadada was just one of those events, and as time went on, we became close. We hung out together, went shopping, and so on. It was about the same time I met Kimura. Those were the days, or so I thought. We always had girl talk, and the fact that she was dating someone I had previously been with wasn't a source of contention. We didn't get jealous of each other. It was just girl talk stuff. No, I did not become intimate with Kadada. Kimura was just too jealous for that. Yes, Kadada knew about Kimura, Sean, and I all being together sexually. Of course she did. We shared that kind of thing. We were open and honest with each other about almost everything. A true friendship, except I couldn't be open and honest about everything. Not anymore. Sean made sure of that. Kadada and Pac were the greatest couple. We was just always so cool and yes, sexy. She was so beautiful and fun. Before all of the tension and beef, We used to all hang out together. It was always dope vibes. But with Pac shooting and suspicious surrounding Sean and Jimmy, the vibes between Kadada and I weren't always perfect. Then came that night. Award shows weren't anything new for us at this point. We dolled up as the men groomed. We didn't choose what we wore. A stylist prepared our color palettes, and makeup artists did our makeup, and hairstylists did our hair. This was just the way of things. We shared the best stylists in the business. Sometimes we would all go to the studio for an event to get our measurements taken. But this time, Kadada seemed different. I felt like something was wrong, but when I probed her, she wouldn't say anything. Then the day of the event was here. We would all see each other inside. Even though Sean was my man, as far as props, I had nothing on Kadada. Being Quincy Jones' daughter had perks, and superstardom was among them. Pop wasn't there. When she saw us, she came over to our table. We sat around kicking it in our very dope vibe. Sean knew he was going to clean up this award show. He had all but taken over the East Coast, musically. With all the hits, there really was no way he wouldn't. Bad Boy is a Hall of Fame stuff now, and Sean P. Diddy Combs knew it. Sean smiled at Kadada as she sat at our table, but something about that smile didn't seem authentic. Soon I would know why. He's sick when he has a grudge against someone. As she sat, Sean said, "Bad Boy is gonna clean the fuck up." From his table with Faith, Chris replied, "Hell yeah, and that new shit we bustin' out gonna have these niggas sick." Kadada signaled for the waiter to pour her a glass of the ginger ale that sat over at her table. As the waiter refreshed her drink, she said, "Pac's music's gonna get some love too." Sean grimaced. "Oh, come on, Sean. I know y'all got your differences, but you have to admit the man makes great music." Sean looked at me out the corner of his eye, then took another sip of his favorite cognac and replied, "Bad Boy got the hottest music on the fucking planet. But I ain't tripping. Everybody gotta get their shine, right?" Kadada sighed. "Sean, Tupac thinks you were involved with him getting shot. You two were so close. You need to make this right." Sean responded indignantly. "Why the fuck would that nigga think I had anything to do with it?" Kadada retorted. "Sean, can you blame him?" Sean was obviously not happy with that question by his reply. "Hell yeah, I blame him. We had a good thing going, all of us. That nigga turned on me, and he has a fucking balls to blame me for his shooting?" The indignity he managed to spew out while lying through his teeth was something I did not expect. I was thrown back for a moment before interjecting. "Da, do we have to do this tonight? It's Sean's big night." Kimura heard the ruckus and made her way over to our table as well. She sat down and said, "Hey everybody," with that big dimpled smile. I smiled and replied, "Hey." Kadada seemed happy to see her as she said, "Hey, what up, Kimmy?" Kimura, never the type to hold her tongue, went straight at it. "The whole place is buzzing with the fact that you're sitting here accusing Sean of having Pac shot. Y'all kinda, loud," she laughed. Kadada seemed embarrassed as she looked around to see everybody staring and whispering. But she wasn't about to back off. In fact, she doubled down. "Anybody here not talking about it ain't real anyway. We all know Sean was behind it." Kimura forced a smile. "Honey, we don't have to do this here." Kadada made it clear she was not to be silenced as she continued, "Oh, let's not hurt the feelings of Sean Puffy Combs. He only had one of the most prolific rappers in the game shot." Sean clenched his hands into his fists. If this was anyone else, this would have turned ugly. But this was Quincy Jones' daughter. Sean was a monster in the streets, well feared by men that knew, but he did not want any smoke of the Quincy Jones could bring. Kadada could continue with impunity. Sean could not touch her. Christopher and Mary, both wanting to defend the super producer that made them famous, both started to stand and make their way over to the table. But Sean signaled them off with a firm motion of his hand. They remained in their seats watching helplessly. Kadada seemed to be on full rampage. "You're not safe in these streets, Sean. You think you're untouchable?" Kimura seemed almost red in the face when she grabbed Kadada by the hand, saying, "I gotta go to the restroom." Kadada, not willing to stop, snatched her hand away, yelling, "Let go of me." Kimura needed her to get a grip and said sternly, as a parent speaking to a child mid-tantrum, "Da!" Kadada turned to her and yelled, "What?" Kimura nodded toward the crowded room, and Kadada looked around. Here she deflated silently. Kimura, now in control, spoke firm but softly, "Let's go powder our nose." Kadada nodded with a grimace and gave a sharp look back at Sean as she walked away. As the tension slowly melted away, I asked Sean, "You okay?" Sean didn't reply at first. He looked around and saw that no one was really paying attention now that the ruckus had died down, and stood to get the picture of ginger ale from Kadada's table. He poured himself a drink from it and looked around again, saw no one was paying attention, and put the picture under the table. What was he doing? Then I heard the distinct sound of liquid being poured into liquid. Oh my God, he is peeing in the picture. He smiled at me as he brought the picture back from under the table and finally replied to me, "I'm good." He then stood and returned the picture to the table. I was in awe. I knew he had a bad temper, but this was disgusting. I'll never eat or drink something after we've had an argument again. Kadada and Kimura made their way back to Kadada's table to sit, as Sean watched on quietly. Sean made small talk. "Which songs do you think they'll give me awards for?" As Kadada poured her drink, Sean's bodyguard made his way over to the table. I think he stopped her from drinking, as everyone else sat and watched. "Jean risks incurring Sean's wrath, if I'm right." Relieved, I replied, "Babe, your catalog is crazy. It could be a lot of songs." Sean glared at Kadada's table the entire night. Chapter 9. Going Back to Cali. We had a wild night. It was after one of Sean's infamous parties. Everyone was there, and we not only had threesomes, but we also swapped partners. Our sex life was crazy, but I got to do things with Sean I would never have been able to do with a straight man. Sean cared about me, but it was becoming more and more obvious that he preferred men. I was beginning to think I was there more to cover his wild desires than because he really wanted to be with me. He was like Caesar, every woman's man and every man's woman. But truthfully, at that stage, I was becoming okay with it. I woke up and left the bedroom where I was with Jada Pickett, and Sean happened to be coming out of the bedroom with XXX and Will Smith. Yes, XXX attended the parties from time to time. I could see him and Will kind of snuggled up on the bed together. I was grateful I wasn't asked to join in that room. I didn't really like XXX. Sean smiled when he saw me. "Good morning." Here at the orgies, he was very, very affectionate. He didn't have to pretend, but he couldn't walk straight. I knew how his ass felt, literally. We've had sessions playing with each other's anal cavities. I wanted to be home before Quincy woke up, so I told him I'm getting ready to go. He responded, "Let's have a cup of coffee first." This meant he wanted to talk. I didn't know what it was about, but in situations like this, I didn't really have a choice. He was becoming more violent when he didn't get what he wanted, and I didn't really want to fight. So I sat down. But before we started talking, XXX came out of the room. Sean was wearing boxers. XXX was in his birthday suit. XXX addressed us, "Morning." When he turned around in order to close the door, there was a dried cum stain on his back. XXX walked over, pulled a chair out to sit down next to us, and lit up a blunt. Sean stretched, smiled, and said, "This East Coast, West Coast beef is more lucrative than I thought, but it's getting dangerous." XXX responded surprised. Business first thing in the morning. Damn, cuz, you on it. But you know you don't got nothing to worry about. You got a pass, daddy. XXX smiled coyly. Sean apparently had something to talk about with XXX as well, because he said, I can't protect everybody, especially if someone is no longer going to be on my label. It was apparent XXX was taken aback by this turn of events by his reply. Sean, are you saying what I think you're saying? Sean continued, it's taxing on my resources to protect people. Someone that isn't 100% on my team can't get 100% of my protection. What the hell is going on here? What does Sean want from me? This morning is turning out to be way more than I expected. I have to go. Quincy will be looking for me. Meanwhile, XXX apparently wanted clarity. So, to be clear, if something happened, XXX made quotation marks with his fingers. To one of your artists that was leaving your label anyway, it would be considered he makes another set of quotation marks out of your control. Is that what you're saying? Wait a minute. Can they be talking about Biggie? Is Sean saying he won't protect Biggie? At this point, I was too young, too naive, too hungover to understand that this was not a lack of protection. This was a hit. Where did this come from this morning? But an older, wiser me understands now that I did not comprehend all those years ago. Sean was just getting to the real reason that he had XXX there. The world was about to lose Biggie. XXX laughed. You a cold motherfucker, Sean. Sean said, why the fuck should I protect someone that isn't going to stick around? I made him. That nigga should be worshiping the ground I fucking walk on. I was thinking, Sean's ego is rearing its ugly head, and I wanted to get out of there, but instincts told me I need to tread carefully. So my next move had to be calculated. I don't really want any part of this, not even implicitly, but I was just dragged right into the middle of it. If what was happening here ever comes out, will I be held as an accomplice? But even as those thoughts crossed my mind, I couldn't just pretend this was okay. So I said, but Sean, he hasn't left yet. They're just rumors. Are you going to let him die because of some rumors? Sean glared at me, the anger in his voice obviously stemming from hurt as he said, I know when I'm being betrayed. I am not killing anyone, but I am not protecting somebody that doesn't have my back 150%. Fuck that. This was railing out of control. My mind began to race. Is there a way to get through to him? Maybe I could use the finance route. Sean, he's bringing in so much money. You put so much money into cultivating him. Are you going to throw away all of that money? That's when he revealed how thought out this meeting really was. If he leaves, he takes all the money I invested into creating him. Sean sighs. But if he can't protect himself and something terrible does happen, then the money I would make off of his death would blow away all the money we made so far. I was perplexed. Sean, he continued, he's worth more to me dead than alive. Sean Combs is a calculated monster. XXX chimes in. I get that, fam. A lot of people out there want Biggie dead too. Without your protection, he doesn't stand a chance in Cali. Biggie is going to die. This is crazy. I dare not say anything else about it. Sean smiles and stands to walk over to a safe behind a picture. There he pulls out a bag marked with XX's name. He turns to XXX and says, that's why you're worth your weight in gold. You understand me? Here's a little something for you to take care of my people. XXX smiles. Sean, I love you, baby. You know I got your back. Your problems are my problems. I'll make sure I have my people take care of your people. I need to get out of here. This is crazy. I attempted to leave again. Sean, I want to get to Quincy before he wakes up. Sean looked at me responding, it's getting late. Give him a kiss for me. I'm going to get out of here. Thank God. XXX always with something to say. I'd love to meet the little tight sometime. Not a chance in hell. Something about this guy creeps me out. I forced a smile. That would be great. I made my exit. Chapter 10. The Lies You Tell. At this point, the relationship between Sean and I had been off and on for quite a while, and we were off at this point. He had put his hands on me again, this time, for something that didn't even happen. It was all in his head. When the phone rang, I picked it up anyway. Hi, Sean. He sounded trepidatious as he said, "We've been broken up for a while this time." "Yeah?" He continued. "I don't want anyone to know about my..." He paused to search for the right word. "Proclivities," I replied. "So you don't want people to know about you being gay?" Sean exploded. "See, that's why I fucking lose control on you. So, I just plainly stated, goodbye, Sean." "Wait!" he screamed. "What, Sean?" "I'm sorry, okay?" "You're always fucking sorry." He took a deep breath. "I have to do something to cover myself." I sighed. Do whatever you fucking want, Sean. When you see this in the news, it's not real. This made me calm down a moment. What could he be talking about? He continued, "I'm only doing it for the press." "Doing what, Sean?" After a long pause, he continued, "She knows what this is. She is just pretending to cover me." "Sean, what the hell are you talking about?" Another pause. "Publicly, I'm going to be dating someone else, a video girl." I laughed. "Why would you do that?" "I have to cover myself." I was getting mad. I was actually angrier at myself more than him. Why was I getting jealous? I was sitting there actually comparing myself to the video vixens in my mind. They are thick, but look at my body. Did he prefer them light-skinned, big butt girls from videos? I calmed myself. No, I know he likes men, any damn way. As I regained control, I asked, "Why the hell are you telling me?" He sighed. "I wanted you to find out from me first." Like I give a shit. He came at me with his favorite line. "You know I love you." It was getting old. I could only think to myself, here we go. Love is a big, strong word. I'm tired of him throwing it around and using it when it fits his needs. He's using it while he's sitting here telling me about dating someone else. I replied, "You don't hit people you love, Sean. Love doesn't hurt." He sucked his teeth as he responded, "Come on, are you serious? That shit's for children. We aren't in fucking high school. Sometimes things happen. That doesn't mean I don't love you. I wouldn't hit you if I didn't..." Wait. That sounded wrong. "You said exactly what you meant." He took a deep breath. There was an awkward silence. The fact that I was still on the phone and waiting for him to speak meant he had the power. He was more cautious as he continued. He didn't want to lose that power. "Kim, no one that I don't care about can bring that kind of emotion out of me." I wanted to say, "Is that how you talk to dudes after using butt plugs?" But there is a line I dare not cross. Instead, I said, "You say that while you're dating some other bitch. That's just for the public." I was done. It could be heard in my voice as I said, "Whatever, Sean. Do what you need to do. Leave me alone." "I'm never giving up on us," he cried. I responded to that emotional control attempt with the little resolve I could muster. I didn't even believe the words that came tumbling out of my mouth. "Sean, there is no us anymore. Goodbye. Tell Quincy I miss him," he threw out. His emotional manipulation was really driving me crazy. This time I said with much more conviction, "Goodbye, Sean." I hung up. Manipulative bastard. You have just been listening to Kim's Lost Words, chapters 6 through 10. Stay tuned for the next audiobook reading. Don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Next bitch come to me, piped up in her feelings. I'ma take that nigga from her, put him them in my kidneys. I wouldn't play with this side over here, we gon' get vicious. Time I get some money, ho, I do that for a living. Came a long way from that pole, now still get them racks when it came to me slow. Make that little baby stand down on these foes, taking them back to back, come on the road. Bitches gon' say that it's beef, but love me like astrology. Ain't like the slut in the week, I'm so proud of me. I'm the one told that little nigga be fake, so pussy ass hoe, you owe me an apology. Hey, they told me I'm cocky, okay, like I don't give a fuck what they say. I'm that bitch at the end of the day. Hey, they mad cause I look like a model. They can pop it, but don't let this pretty face fool you. These bitches don't want any problems. Hey, they told me I'm cocky, okay, like I don't give a fuck what they say. I'm that bitch at the end of the day. Hey.